If your doctor has ever looked at you across that little table and said, "Your blood pressure is too high," I want you to know, you are not alone. And I also want you to know something that most people are never told in that moment. There is a lot you can do about this. A lot. And today, I am going to walk you through exactly what that looks like, in plain, simple, honest language. No confusing medical terms, no scary statistics thrown at you, just real, caring, practical information that could genuinely change your life starting today. So stay with me, because what I am about to share with you in the next few minutes is something I wish every single person over 50 in America could hear. Let me start with a story. A woman named Carol, 63 years old, retired school teacher from Ohio, came in for what she thought was just a routine checkup. She felt fine. A little tired, sure, maybe some headaches here and there, but fine. And when the nurse put that cuff around her arm, the number on the screen was 160/98. Carol looked at that number and said, "That can't be right." But it was right. And her doctor told her she had high blood pressure. She left that office feeling scared, confused, and honestly a little defeated. Sound familiar? Here is what I want you to understand right away. High blood pressure, which doctors call hypertension, is one of the most common health conditions in the United States. Nearly half of all American adults have it. Nearly half. And here is the really important part. Most of them feel completely normal. That is why it is called the silent killer. Because it works quietly, without announcing itself, without obvious pain, without warning, while slowly putting stress on your heart, your arteries, your kidneys, and your brain. But wait, before you let that word silent killer frighten you too much, I want you to hear the other side of this story, because there is another side, and it is a hopeful one. The research is absolutely clear on this. Lifestyle changes. The way you eat, the way you move, the way you sleep, the way you handle stress. These things have a profound and measurable impact on blood pressure. Profound. We are not talking about small improvements. We are talking about numbers that can actually shift in a meaningful direction when you make the right changes consistently. And that is what today is all about. Now, I also want to say something before we go any further, and I mean this sincerely. If you are watching this right now and you have not had your blood pressure checked recently, please do that. This week, if you can. Many pharmacies across the country have free blood pressure machines right there in the store. Many community centers and senior centers offer free health screenings. Your doctor's office can check it at any visit. Knowing your numbers is the very first step. You cannot manage something you are not measuring. And the beautiful thing is, checking your blood pressure is painless, quick, and free, or very low cost in most places. So please make that a priority. Write it down on your to-do list today. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people who love you. Now, let us talk about what is actually happening in your body when blood pressure is too high. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. When water flows through at the right pressure, everything works perfectly. The flowers get watered, the grass stays green, the whole garden thrives. But now imagine someone cranks up the water pressure way too high. The hose starts to strain, the connections start to leak. Over time, the whole system gets damaged. That is essentially what high blood pressure does to your body. It forces your heart to work harder than it should. It puts constant strain on the walls of your blood vessels. And over time, if nothing changes, that extra strain can lead to serious problems: heart attack, stroke, kidney damage, vision loss. Most people don't realize this, but high blood pressure does not just affect your heart. It affects your entire body. Your brain needs a steady, reliable blood supply to function well. When blood pressure is too high for too long, it can affect your memory, your ability to think clearly, and your risk for conditions like dementia. This is why we take it seriously. This is why I am talking to you about it today. Now, here is something very important. Let us talk about the signs that many people ignore, because yes, blood pressure is often silent. But there are subtle clues that your body may already be giving you, and most people brush them off as just getting older or just being tired. I want you to pay attention to these. Frequent headaches, especially in the morning or at the back of your head. Do you get those? A lot of people chalk it up to stress or not sleeping well. And maybe that is true, but it can also be a signal from your cardiovascular system that something is not right. Feeling flushed or hot in the face for no obvious reason. Dizziness when you stand up too quickly. Blurry vision that comes and goes. A general sense of fatigue that is deeper than just normal tiredness. Difficulty sleeping or waking up at night and not knowing why. Even occasional nosebleeds that seem to happen out of nowhere. None of these symptoms alone confirm high blood pressure. But together, or alongside a reading that has already been flagged by your doctor, they are your body's way of saying, pay attention, something needs to change. And here is the truth about why so many Americans over 50 develop high blood pressure in the first place. It is not just one thing. It is a combination of factors that tend to pile up over time. Let us start with what you eat. The typical American diet is full of sodium. Salt is hidden in almost everything. Canned soups, deli meats, bread, salad dressings, restaurant meals, frozen dinners. And while a little sodium is something your body needs, most of us are eating several times the recommended amount without even knowing it. Excess sodium causes your body to hold on to water, which increases the volume of blood in your vessels, which raises the pressure. It is a direct and well-documented connection, and reducing sodium in your diet, even modestly, can have a meaningful impact on blood pressure within weeks. But sodium is not the only villain in the diet story. Sugar plays a role too, and most people are completely surprised to hear that. Excess sugar, especially from sweetened drinks like sodas and fruit juices, and those fancy coffee drinks, can raise blood pressure over time by affecting the kidneys, increasing insulin levels, and promoting weight gain, all of which put upward pressure on your numbers. Now, while we are talking about diet, I also want to mention something that gets far less attention than sodium, but is equally important on the other side of the equation. Potassium. Potassium is a mineral that actually helps your body balance the effects of sodium. It helps relax blood vessel walls and supports healthy kidney function, both of which have a direct impact on blood pressure. Foods that are naturally rich in potassium include bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, avocados, white beans, and low-fat yogurt. When people shift their diets toward more whole foods, more fruits, more vegetables, more foods that come from the earth rather than a factory, they are naturally reducing sodium and increasing potassium at the same time. And that combination is powerful. There is actually a well-researched eating plan that cardiologists have recommended for decades specifically for people with high blood pressure. It emphasizes fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins like chicken and fish, low-fat dairy, and nuts and seeds, while limiting red meat, sweets, and salty processed foods. The research on this type of eating pattern consistently shows meaningful reductions in blood pressure readings. I am not here to put you on a strict diet, but I am here to tell you that what you put on your plate 3 times a day has a direct relationship with the number on that blood pressure cuff. Every meal is an opportunity. Speaking of weight, this is a sensitive topic, and I want to address it with care because I never want anyone watching this to feel judged. But the science is clear, and I would not be doing my job if I did not mention it. Carrying extra weight, particularly around the belly, significantly increases the workload on your heart. Every extra pound of body weight means your heart has to pump blood to more tissue. And over the years, that extra demand takes a toll. Even a modest reduction in weight, we are talking 10 or 15 pounds, has been shown in studies to produce meaningful drops in blood pressure readings. Not dramatic changes overnight, but real, measurable, life-improving changes over time. Now let us talk about something that does not get nearly enough attention when it comes to blood pressure. Stress. Chronic, ongoing, everyday stress. The kind of stress that does not go away when the workday ends. The stress of financial worry, of health concerns, of family responsibilities, of isolation, of grief, of just carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders for years on end. This kind of stress triggers a constant low-level activation of your body's fight-or-flight response. And one of the things that response does is raise blood pressure. Not just in the moment, but over time, chronically elevated stress contributes to chronically elevated blood pressure. This is one of the reasons why people who practice stress reduction consistently, whether through prayer, meditation, quiet time in nature, gentle breathing exercises, or simply finding more moments of joy and laughter in the day, often see their blood pressure respond in a positive way. Most people don't realize this, but even something as simple as how you breathe can influence your blood pressure reading. When you take slow, deep breaths, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that is the calming side of your nervous system, and it signals the body to relax blood vessel walls, slow the heart rate, and gently lower pressure. There is research supporting specific breathing techniques as a useful tool for people managing hypertension, not as a replacement for anything else, but as one more gentle, accessible tool in the toolbox. And then there is sleep. Oh, sleep. If I could shout this from the rooftops, I would. Poor sleep and high blood pressure are deeply connected. When you do not get enough quality sleep, your body does not get the overnight period of lower blood pressure that it needs and expects. Your stress hormones stay elevated, your nervous system stays on alert, and over time, that disrupted sleep pattern contributes to higher baseline blood pressure readings during the day. People who sleep fewer than 6 hours a night have been shown to have significantly higher rates of hypertension. If you are waking up repeatedly through the night, if you snore loudly, if you feel exhausted even after a full night in bed, please mention this to your doctor. Sleep apnea, which is a condition where your breathing repeatedly pauses during sleep, is strongly linked to high blood pressure and is very treatable. Now let us talk about movement, because I know some of you hearing the word exercise might already be thinking, I have bad knees, or I have a bad back, or I just don't have the energy. And I hear that. I really do. But here's what the research shows about movement and blood pressure, and I want you to listen to this carefully. Regular moderate physical activity, and I mean regular walking, gentle swimming, stretching, even slow dancing in your living room, has been shown to lower systolic blood pressure, which is that top number, by anywhere from 4 to 9 points on average. That is not a small effect. That is a real, clinically meaningful effect, and you do not have to run marathons to get there. Walking for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, is enough to start making a difference. You can break it up into 3 10-minute walks if 30 minutes feels like too much. The point is to get the body moving regularly, to get the heart rate up gently, to encourage the blood vessels to stay flexible and responsive. Movement is medicine. And it is available to almost everyone, at almost any fitness level, at any time. Let us also take a moment to talk about what you drink. Alcohol. This is another area where the research is pretty clear and also pretty commonly ignored. Drinking more than 1 drink per day for women or 2 for men on a regular basis raises blood pressure, not dramatically after 1 glass of wine, but regularly, over time. Habitual alcohol consumption is one of the lifestyle factors most strongly associated with elevated blood pressure readings. If you drink regularly, even just a little reduction can make a real difference in how your cardiovascular system functions. And caffeine. For some people, caffeine causes a temporary spike in blood pressure. If you are a heavy coffee or tea drinker and your blood pressure is already elevated, it may be worth experimenting with reducing your intake and seeing whether your numbers respond. Now here is something that truly matters, and I want to say it clearly. The things I have been talking about, eating less sodium, managing stress, sleeping better, moving more, maintaining a healthy weight, reducing alcohol, these are not just suggestions for people who want to feel a little better. These are genuinely powerful interventions that can change the trajectory of your cardiovascular health. But they only work if you actually do them, and they only work if you give them time. This is not a 1-week fix. This is a lifestyle shift. And lifestyle shifts, done consistently over weeks and months, produce real and lasting changes in the body. This is very important. I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing I have talked about today is meant to replace the advice of your own doctor. If you have been prescribed medication for blood pressure, please do not stop taking it without talking to your physician first. What I am describing are the lifestyle strategies that work alongside medical care and, in some cases, with the guidance of a doctor, may allow for adjustments in treatment over time. But that is a conversation you have with your doctor, not a decision you make alone based on a video. What I want to leave you with today is this: you are not powerless. That is the message. You are not helpless in front of a number on a blood pressure cuff. The human body has an extraordinary capacity to respond to care, and the care I am talking about is the everyday kind. What you choose to eat for breakfast, whether you take a walk after dinner, how you respond to a moment of tension, whether you turn off the television and actually get to bed at a decent hour, whether you carve out even 5 minutes of stillness and quiet breathing in the middle of a busy day. And here is one more thing I want to mention that almost never comes up in these conversations. Social connection. Loneliness and social isolation have been shown to raise blood pressure and increase cardiovascular risk in older adults. Human beings are wired for connection. When we are isolated, when we go days without meaningful conversation, without touch, without the warmth of another person's presence, our nervous systems register that as a form of stress. So reach out to a friend this week. Call a family member. Get to that church group or community class or neighborhood walking club. Your heart, quite literally, benefits from human connection. That is not just a nice idea. That is biology. These things matter. They accumulate. They add up over time into something genuinely meaningful. Carol, that retired school teacher from Ohio I mentioned at the start, she made changes, slowly, patiently, one small choice at a time. She started walking every morning with a neighbor. She swapped her canned soups for homemade broth with less salt. She started going to bed 30 minutes earlier and turning her phone off at night. She joined a gentle yoga class at the community center on Thursday mornings. And 6 months later, when the nurse put that cuff on her arm, the number had come down. Not to perfect, but down. Meaningfully down. Her doctor noticed. She noticed. And more importantly, she felt the difference. More energy, clearer thinking, better sleep, a sense of being in the driver's seat of her own health. That is what is available to you. Not overnight, not without effort, but absolutely, genuinely, powerfully available. So let me say this one more time because you deserve to hear it clearly. You can make choices today that your heart, your brain, your kidneys, and your future self will all be grateful for. You are not too old to start. It is never too late to treat your body with more care, and every single step in the right direction counts, no matter how small it seems in the moment. Take care of yourself. You matter. Your health matters, and the people who love you need you around for a long, long time. If you found this helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more simple health awareness videos every day.